In today's video, we're going to be looking at ForBrain. This is an interesting device I discovered a few months ago. It's a brain training device to help your kid or yourself or whoever is using it, kid or adult, boost her speech, attention, and memory. When it comes to kids specifically, it's supposed to help them with clearer speech, stronger attention, and a stronger reading. Is this too good to be true? How do you use it? What exactly can you expect? Let's find out in today's video. Okay, so this is the device itself, and this is how you use it. You click on this button over here to turn it on, and you can adjust the volume over here, and this is how you wear it. Notice how it wraps around the back of the head like this, resting in front of the ear canal, but you do not put it directly inside your ears, okay? So what is it? What are these? These are a type of bone-conduction headphones with a mic. This means that you're going to speak directly into the mic and you're going to hear yourself through the headphones. I'm actually hearing myself right now, but the sound is going to be transmitted through the bones in your skull instead of your ear canal. So in other words, your skull, when you wear them, is going to be the device's speaker. And what are you gonna hear? Well, you're gonna hear yourself talking, whatever it is that you're speaking into the mic, how you really sound, how you'd hear yourself on a recording, but not 100% the same either. And this is very important actually. This is where the magic of the device really occurs. The device has a filter that is going to modify your voice slightly. It's a dynamic filter that is going to emphasize high frequency sounds, it's going to soften low frequency sounds, and it's going to block environmental noise. So what does this even mean and why is it important, right? I know it took me a while to get my head around it and understand it too. I had no idea why this was important or the logic behind it. Sorry to interrupt, but before we continue, I wanted to share some exciting news. I've been in touch with the company that sells and produces ForBrain, and they've agreed to offer a special 10% discount for my audience. On top of that, they're running a special holiday promotion for Black Friday week, offering a 15% discount. I've confirmed that both discounts are cumulative, so you can use them both at the same time. To take advantage of this offer, use the link learningreadinghub.com/ForBrain. After Black Friday week, my 10% discount will still be available along with their 30-day money-back guarantee. The link again is learningreadinghub.com/ForBrain, and the link will also be in the video description. And now let's come back to the video. Okay, so why do we want to stress high frequency sounds and soften low frequency sounds? Well, high frequency sounds help energize the brain, in their own words. This is a beautiful way of saying that high frequency sounds are associated with alertness and focus. And actually, as a user of the device myself, this makes a lot of sense because I do feel more focused and alert when I wear them and speak into them. But anyway, we'll talk about that in more detail later on and many other things. Let's come back now to the way they slightly modify the sound and the why behind it. They also say that this assists in the construction of language. This allows them, meaning children or whoever is wearing the device, work on their auditory feedback loop. Okay, what is the auditory feedback loop? Well, it's a cycle that naturally happens when we speak. We say something, we listen to what we have said, and then we correct what we have said if necessary. We use these 3 steps all the time, every single day, without even realizing that we are. For instance, if you are in a busy place like a noisy cafe or a noisy street, you're going to adjust the volume of your voice almost automatically, right? Or if you are in a quiet place like the library, you're going to use a low voice, aren't you? Even thinking about the library made me lower down my voice. Well, we continuously do this. We perceive, we analyze, and then we adjust our voice and our speech. So what we're doing with this device, the logic behind it is taking advantage of this natural auditory feedback loop and enhance it. So we can focus more, be more alert, and hear language, speech, sounds, and structures and frequencies more clearly. I guess you're already starting to realize how this device can help you with your self-awareness around how you really sound, sort of, as we've learned. It's like self-awareness on steroids, if you wish. You're enhancing what we strategically want to enhance and blocking things like noise or lower sounds so we can focus even more. In children's case, if they have trouble with their speech, imagine how powerful this can be, right? Hearing themselves in an augmented, more realistic way, blocking the noise, etc. Because sometimes, I think the problem kids can have with certain sounds, like the common confusion so many kids have with the sounds and comes down to them not hearing the difference between these two sounds. To them, they sound the same. So this device would give them real-time vocal feedback, as they call it, so they can truly hear the difference. Really simple, really cool, right? Having said this, I'm not a speech pathologist, okay? That is not my area of expertise. But what I do know is all about the importance of phonemic awareness and phonological awareness for clear speech and for reading. Remember, these skills refer to the ability to hear and manipulate the sounds in words. I've spoken about them so many times in the channel, so I'm not gonna repeat myself today. All I'm going to say is that this is so closely related. When you're using the device, you're indeed working on phonemic and phonological awareness. This device is training your brain in sound discrimination and sound processing. That so many children with reading difficulties, especially children with dyslexia, struggle with the discrimination of sounds. It's very difficult for them to tell sounds apart, to play with the sounds, so to hold the sounds in their head for long enough. So having a device, a tool to help kids with that in such a simple way is an idea that actually makes a lot of sense. Okay, but let's see what studies have to say about this, because I find it exciting, it makes sense, it sounds amazing, and I can talk about my personal experience, which is positive, and I will later on, I will share my own and my family's experience with the device, but I know that's an anecdote. It's not scientific proof, right? So let's take a look at the studies first. They have several studies for different purposes, including voice quality, stuttering, attention, really cool in this day and age, right? But anyway, since you're here, I know that probably your number one area of interest is reading. So let's take a look at two studies they did on reading. However, if you're also interested in taking a look at those other studies for attention, voice quality, etc., I'll leave you the links to those as well in the video description. So I'm gonna move to my computer now so we can go through the studies together. ForBrain improves reading speed and comprehension. A study conducted at the Mediterráneo de la Ampolla School in Tarragona, I think that's how you pronounce it, shows ForBrain's beneficial effects on improving reading speed and comprehension. This neurosensory stimulation program was used with 8 primary school students, that is elementary school students, 4 of them in first grade, 2 in second grade, and 2 in sixth grade, over a 2-month period with 4 weekly sessions, giving a total of 20 ForBrain sessions per child. The study was carried out between May and June 2015, and it included both girls and boys. The school's diversity was also taken into account, and some of the participating students had attention deficit issues. ForBrain improved all of the participating students' reading skills. This is particularly noticeable in improved reading speed and, in some cases, higher self-confidence and a decrease in reading mistakes. Okay, especially reading speed. To measure the students' progress and evaluate the program's benefit in the school, we used the standard reading test, GALI in Catalonian. We also took into consideration that ForBrain has an important effect in other aspects of the child's development as well. we were able to observe the reading ability improvement in each of the 8 children who used ForBrain during the period of the study. Student 1. In March, a Chinese girl in first grade with pronunciation difficulties was reading 38 words per minute with an error rate of 10%. Her reading was hesitant and syllabic. By June, her reading speed had increased to 44 words per minute without making any mistakes. That is pretty good. And her self-confidence had greatly improved, obviously. The evaluation results were very positive, especially in terms of pronunciation. Okay, it makes sense because this helps with speech. The ForBrain program had a very positive overall effect in helping her overcome her difficulties. Student number 2. In March, a first grade boy was reading 22 words per minute with an error rate of 20% with a syllabic reading. By June, he had increased his reading speed to 30 words per minute, that is a lot, and reduced his error rate to 10%. The overall evaluation was very positive because his error rate was reduced by half and his level now approaches the first grade standard. Student 3. In March, a first grade boy was reading 27 words per minute with an error rate of 10% with a syllabic reading. By June, his reading rate had increased to 30 words per minute, though his error rate remained at 10%. There was a slow increase in reading speed, but still his reading level now approaches the first grade standards. Student 4. In March, a first grade boy who likes to attract attention and sometimes doesn't feel like working was reading 21 words per minute with an error rate of 16%. His reading was hesitant and syllabic. By June, his reading rate had increased to 29 words per minute and his error rate to 17%. Though his error rate remained about the same, his reading speed increased by 8 words per minute. Student 5. In March, a third grade girl with attention problems had very deficient reading and writing skills and also displayed very apathetic and passive behavior. Back in March, she was reading 22 words per minute with an error rate of 0%. After her ForBrain sessions, she was reading 27 words per minute with a 0 error rate. Her reading was still a bit hesitant, but the increase of 5 words per minute brought her closer to the first grade reading standard. Okay, we're gonna leave it here. As you can see, in general, very good results for this study. Okay, so let's move on to another study they did on reading, and it is over here. It is reading skills. The effect of sound therapy on reading skills of students with reading difficulties. Sound therapy using the ForBrain headset can be an effective intervention in improving reading skills in students with reading difficulties. The therapy enhances auditory discrimination and processing, ultimately leading to improved reading abilities. Okay, so what I wanted to do is also go to the source. So let's go and take a look at the actual study. Okay, so this is the study, the effect of sound therapy on reading skills of students with reading difficulties. I'm going to start reading over here. Okay, one of the basic prerequisites of learning is the auditory processing. Research shows that most children and adults with reading and learning complications suffer from problems in auditory attention and processing. Auditory processing includes auditory discrimination, auditory memory, sequence, and order. Since poor readers have difficulty discriminating two auditory temporal stimuli and they take more time to discriminate auditory stimuli and are more prone to make mistakes in such cases, it seems that one of the reasons for their failure in acquiring reading skills is their lack of auditory discrimination. According to this, Ahisar et al. Showed that poor readers have problems in auditory processing as well, especially in cases that require discriminating frequencies. There are a lot of studies that attribute reading problems to fundamental deficiencies in articulation and hearing systems. Consequently, sound therapy is one of the suggested treatments for such people. The effectivity of this method was firstly introduced by Tomaitis, was confirmed in different studies and samples, but based the literature, sound therapy is most influential in learning and reading disorders. Okay, so this is the hypothesis. They used 20 students in third grade with reading difficulties. They were assessed for that, and they were divided into two groups, a control group and the one receiving the intervention with ForBrain. So what happened? Let's see. As evident in tables 4, the F values are significant for all reading skills. 56% of the changes were caused by the intervention. Table 5 shows that these values are significant for all reading subscales except for rhyme and reading non-word subscales. Okay, sounds good, but I'm going to move to this other table over here because I think is way clearer. I think the other one is a little bit confusing, so this one is way clearer. As you can see, there was what they call significant impact. That is an improvement of over 25% in all of these reading related skills: reading words, naming picture, text comprehension, understanding words, deleting sounds, letter cues. Okay, so that's the science when it comes to its impact on reading skills. Those are the two studies they have on their website. I know they haven't used hundreds of students, but in any case, they show good, strong, and promising results for the rest of the studies around attention, clear speech, etc. Remember, I leave you links in the video description, but I won't go through them in today's video, okay? Let me know if you want me to do another video focusing on that. Okay, now I'll go ahead and share my experience and also give you a few ideas on how to use the device. But before I do that, maybe I should talk a little bit more about bone conduction as opposed to air conduction. I'm not sure I explained this enough. Why did they pick bone conduction? Why is it more powerful than air conduction, in this case for what we're trying to achieve? Okay, first of all, bone conduction is way faster. Actually, it is approximately 10 times faster than air conduction. This means you're processing the sound already in your head before you're actually hearing it through air conduction. For what we're trying to achieve is also considered higher quality because it's where the first and main perception of our own voice occurs, which is critical for language and speech. And if you're still a little bit confused around bone conduction and how is it that we're able to receive sounds through the bones in our skull rather than the ear canal, do this. Stick your fingers into your ears and talk something aloud. What you have experienced is bone conduction. Okay, I think this should be clear enough. Now let's move on to my experience with the device, and I also wanted to remind you about the discount they have offered to my audience. To avail of it, simply go to the link learningreadinghub.com/ForBrain. The link will also be in the video description. Okay, I personally use it for clearer speech and I think it really helps. To be more specific, I use it a lot to practice English pronunciation, to improve my pronunciation. It's made me realize that there are subtle things I can improve I wasn't really paying attention to. Sometimes it's the way I vocalize, the rhythm of speech, a stress I'm making on a different syllable in a word. Little things like that are suddenly way more obvious thanks to this device. I don't think they have done studies around the use of the device to learn a new language or to improve pronunciation for learners of a second language. Maybe they should. I think it's got potential. I also use it now all the time before recording my videos, and actually today I've been using it throughout the entire video. Why do I do such thing? Well, because this is like a presentation I have to give, right? So I was doing this anyway without the device. I think about what I'm going to say, I prepare my videos, of course, but I've noticed the device helps me be more ready for it. In the end, I feel my presentation is stronger, clearer, and needs less editing. Okay, that's me. How have my kids been using it? They are wearing it many times, not all the time, when they are reading. Nothing extravagant, is super easy to implement since they are already reading, right? My older daughter has also found a way to use it that she really enjoys, that she loves. She loves singing karaoke songs with the device. So she wears the device so she can hear herself singing. Basically, I should mention as well that this is a skill she's interested in. In fact, she used to do singing lessons. I think she feels like a rock star with this song or something. But anyway, I understand. This is giving her real-time feedback about the way she sings. And I admit I've sung with it as well. You can hear yourself, how you sound, and it really helps with your self-awareness. So that's another use. How would I go if I had to use it with a kid that truly had difficulties with reading, for instance, a dyslexic child? And the tips I'm going to give you are also tips I've taken from specialists, because this is something you can use at home very easily, but this is something that speech pathologists also use in their office, okay? First of all, don't use it if your child is under 3 years old. It is not recommended. If your child is under 5, use the device for 10 minutes a day approximately. If he or she is over 5 years old, 15 to 20 minutes a day is fantastic. If it's the first time using it, demonstrate first. You put it on first, let the child feel the vibration of the device. Get your child excited because it vibrates a little bit. Get your child excited over it. Use a mirror or your phone so they can see themselves. Actually, I did this with my girls as well the first time they used it because they asked for it. They really wanted to see themselves with the device on. And try to create a positive experience around it. It's not gonna be noisy, it's not gonna be overstimulating at all, but let them get used to it. We know that some children can be a little bit apprehensive at first or a little bit sensitive sometimes. Also, especially because we're probably gonna be working a lot with the sound processing. This is kind of the key, right? With reading difficulties. You can also plug in a secondary mic so they can hear you through the secondary mic, and this is the secondary mic over here. Let me show you how that goes. So you plug it over here and you can give them feedback and instructions using your voice, and the sound will be processed by the dynamic filter and the bone-conduction technology, which, as we've learned, enhances your child's focus and processing of spoken words. In other words, with your corrections, you will improving and amplifying the vocal feedback loop. So what type of activities can you do? Actually, they have a few examples in their website, and I will leave you links to those in the video description if interested. But I feel they are more general examples for anyone using the device, right? So what I'd suggest you do to help a struggling reader or a dyslexic child accurately identify, repeat, and manipulate sounds is phonemic awareness exercises with the headset on. And as you probably already know, these activities, which are hard for these kids, are all about playing with the sounds in words. What is the first sound in pig? What is the last sound in cat? What happens if you change the k sound with the p sound? I'm going to leave it here because I have spoken about these activities lots of times in the channel and in the Learning Reading Hub website. I have lots of resources and sample activities you can do, and I will leave you links to all of those resources in the video description as well. On top of that, if you are already reading words and sentences, simply incorporate the headset during your lessons. I would use this headset in combination with whichever program you may be using. Other ideas: choral reading using the secondary mic, reading poems, which are fantastic for phonological awareness. If they cannot read poems all by themselves yet, you can read little poems to them through the secondary mic. And if poems are too advanced, maybe they are still little, use nursery rhymes. The important thing here is the rhymes. You can also read a dialogue with your child, like a comic book, where you alternate characters with your child. For clear diction or sounds that are especially tricky, exaggerate sounds. You can also get your child to read out loud her list of hard words or high-frequency words with the device on, as this device also helps with faster memorization. Sing what you're reading or sing karaoke songs, as my older daughter likes to do. This also helps with reading. In fact, there was this interesting study where they use karaoke songs to improve reading. I don't think I've spoken about it yet. I will, don't worry. I have spoken about the benefits of subtitles though, and this is kind of also related. Here you're using many powerful tools all at the same time: subtitles, a device, rhythm, and also remember that on top of that, songs have rhymes, which we know are very good for phonological awareness. Finally, another thing you can do is use their jack cable, also included in the set, to connect the headset to a tablet or a computer or a Kindle, so your child can listen to an audiobook through the bone-conduction headphones. Okay, and these are some ideas on how to integrate this amazing device, in my opinion, into your everyday life in a really simple way. And that's actually fantastic as well, because when things are overly complicated, it's easy not to do them right, or just do them for a while. And as usual, repetition and consistency is key. Anyway, remember, if you're interested in this device, go to learningreadinghub.com/ForBrain to get your discount. Link will also be in the video description. Bye for now, and see you in the next video.